Dear students of BA Part 1, at first, a very warm morning to all of you. Dear friends, today I have come to discuss with you a very revolutionary poem, a highly suggestive poem, a highly reflective poem, a poem which has the power of galvanizing, revolutionizing human life, human mind. This poem has the power of churning the mind. This poem has the power of changing the negativity of life into positivity. We will see here how the poet, who was himself suffering from, in the mid of the poem, rather particularly in the mid of the poem, changes his outlook, or his outlook gets changed in the last of the poem. The last line of the poem, where he says, "If winter comes, can spring be far behind?" Now all of you might have understood that here I am talking of the poem Ode to the West Wind, written by P.B. Shelley. This very last line is the seminal line of the poem, is the central line of the poem. This is the line which deals with the very theme of the poem. If you delete this line, if you remove this line from the poem will lose its backbone and the poem will be razed to dust. मिट्टी में मिल जाएगी कविता. It will not be so powerful, so effective, so impressive as it is. It is written, as I have told you, or all of you know this fact very well. This poem has been chiseled, has been created, has been written by the reputed romantic poet P.B. Shelley, Percy Bysshe Shelley. He is one of the pillars of the romanticism of early 19th century. And you know this fact very well, that in that century, early 19th century, there were four mighty pillars of English romanticism, and they were William Wordsworth, P.B. Shelley, S.T. Coleridge, and John Keats. They were the nature poets. You know the fact very well that in the poetry of early 19th century, the poets were very much dedicated, devoted to nature. So all these four poets deal with nature, but they have the different observation as far as nature is concerned, or regarding the nature. They give different look upon nature. They view nature very differently. Wordsworth is the apostle, A-P-O-S-T-L-E. Wordsworth is the apostle of nature because he worships nature. He thinks that nature is God and God is nature. S.T. Coleridge finds some supernatural elements in nature. He finds that there are some creatures, there is some force, there is some power which impresses life, which has its effect upon life. So he supernaturalizes nature. For John Keats, nature has sensuality. Nature is full of sensuousness. So he sensualizes nature. But Shelley finds that nature, no doubt, nature is cool, nature is very benign, you can say. Nature is very docile, you can say. Nature is very polite, you can say. Nature cares, nature fosters, nature brings up, nature creates. But nature has the different facet also. You know, a coin has two facets. एक ही सिक्के के दो पहलू होते हैं. Nature, which seems very cool, proves to be very hot also. Nature, which creates, which fosters, which brings up life, sometimes destructs also. Nature has the ferocious look also. And Shelley watches or Shelley observes this very mood, this very aspect, this very outlook of nature. And he finds that very revolutionary power of nature is very friendly, rather, no doubt. It looks very rough at that time, but it is the destruction which brings construction also. So, P.B. Shelley revolutionizes nature because he finds there are some elements of revolution, of changes. Nature has the capacity, nature has the power to bring changes. This poem is an ode. In ode, the things are addressed. It seems that the poet is addressing someone. It is a type of lyric which deals with some lofty ideas, you can say, some revolutionary ideas, you can say. So here also you will find, if you go through the book, if you have the book, please open the book and turn to the poem, that is Ode to the West Wind. So it is a type of lyrical stanza. Ode is a type of lyrical stanza. It is an elaborately structured poem praising or glorifying event or individual, describing nature intellectually as well as emotionally. ये जो पोएम है ओड नेचर को इंटेलेक्चुअली भी डिस्क्राइब करता है, बौद्धिक रूप से भी डिस्क्राइब करता है, एट द सेम टाइम इट डिस्क्राइब्स द पोएम इमोशनली आल्सो. And you know the fact very well that the poets of the romantic revival of early 19th century are very much guided by the heart. Therefore, they are the romantic poets. The poems or the poetry of 18th century, that is the Augustan age, is very much guided or impressed by the mind or by the intellectual, by the intellectuality, by the intellectual power. Therefore, that poetry of that particular period, that means the Augustan age, is known to be intellectual poetry. There was verbosity, there was scholarship, there was pedantry rather. Those poetry were very much concerned to politics. Those poetries were very much concerned to town poetry. Town, the village, the common things, the common elements failed to make their presence there, failed to make their entry there. But here in romantic poetry, common things, nature, village, common man get their entry. This poetry, the poetry of 18th century, is not emotional because it is not guided by heart. But the poetry of this period has both the intellectual power, at the same time it has the emotional power also. Here, if you go through the line, see the line attentively. Oh wild west wind, the very first line, the very starting of the poem. Oh wild west wind, oh, the way I call you people. Sometimes I do not know the name of a person, of some of you I say ए लड़का, ये बच्ची, ये दीदी, या if I know the name I call some of you ओ पिंटू, ओ सपना, ओ शाश्वत, ऐसा like this, ओ सोमा. So here also it seems that the poet is very much known to the west wind. He is talking to the west wind. He is addressing to the west wind. Oh, wild west wind. So here west wind has been personified. Personification, you know, is a figure of speech in which non-living things or inanimate objects are made living or animate. जो निर्जीव चीजें होती हैं, हम उनको पोएट उनको सजीव बना देता है, यानी कि उसमें प्राण फूंक देता है, वो इंजेक्ट कर देता है लाइफ को, और उन चीजों को वो लिविंग रूप में प्रेजेंट करता है. द फ्लावर्स आर स्माइलिंग, द वेव्स आर डांसिंग, द मून विंक्ड हर आईज, एसेट्रा एसेट्रा. इसी को हम कहते हैं पर्सोनिफिकेशन. फूल मुस्कुरा रहे थे, झरना गुनगुना रहा था, लहरें नृत्य कर रही थीं. तो इसमें हमने क्या किया, आदमी का जो गुण होता है, जो मानव का, इसलिए जैसे नाम पड़ गया है मानवीकरण, यानी मानव ये गुण को हम उसमें क्या कर देते हैं, ट्रांसफर कर देते हैं, इंजेक्ट कर देते हैं, उसमें डाल देते हैं, पोर कर देते हैं. तो हियर द पोएट इज टेलिंग, ओ, यहां पर पर्सोनिफिकेशन का एक बड़ा भाई भी है. पर्सोनिफिकेशन हैज एन एल्डर ब्रदर नोन टू बी एपोस्ट्रोफ. उसमें क्या होता है, थिंग्स पर्सोनिफाइड इज एड्रेस्ड आल्सो. जिस थिंग को हम पर्सोनिफाई करते हैं उसको हम एड्रेस करते हैं. ओ बैग, तुम बहुत खूबसूरत हो. किसी बैग के लिए हमने कहा तुम बहुत, ओ बैग तुम बहुत खूबसूरत हो, तुम कितने सामान अपने अंदर रखती हो. तो ओ वाइल्ड, वर्ड देखिए, वाइल्ड वेस्ट विंड, पछुआ हवा, पगलिया पछुआ हवा, ओ पगली पछुआ हवा. वाइल्ड जंगली, वाइल्ड का मतलब ही क्या होता है, जंगली. कभी कि हम लोगों को ओ डोंट गो वाइल्ड, डोंट गो मैड, डोंट गो फेरोसस, जैसे ही जंगली लग गया, जंगली है. इस पर एक फिल्म भी बनी थी, चाहे कोई मुझे जंगली कहे, कहने को कहता रहे, हम प्यार के दीवाने, हम तो प्यार की, वो सारा गीत है, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग. तो वाइल्ड मतलब जंगली, तो कहता है ओ जंगली पछुआ हुआ. देखिए पोएट का पावर, सीधे धड़धड़ा के बोल रहा है, जंगली ही कह रहा है उसको पहले ही. ओ वाइल्ड वेस्ट विंड, दाउ breath of autumn's being. breath सांस, autumn's पतझड़ ऋतु, autumn का सीजन, autumn's being, it means west wind is the breath of autumn season. It implies that the presence of autumn season means the presence of the west wind. Oh wild west wind, there is another figure of speech, alliteration. Time and again I have told you, alliteration is the much used figure of speech. Wild W, west W, wind W. So this is the alliteration of W sound or W letter. Wild west wind, thou मतलब you, breath of autumn's being, thou from whose unseen presence The leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. The poem is a bit tough. Try to understand it. The from whose unseen presence. Sometimes we live in terror also. भय में जीते हैं. Suppose there is a teacher and he is before you, and you are very much horrified or terrified. You are panicked because he is before you, and he is a मरखा हुआ teacher. Suppose कीजिए वो हमेशा चाइडिंग करने वाले, डराने वाले, मारने वाले सामने में है. तो if the fear is before you, if the element of fear is before you and you are panicked, it can easily be understood. If you are married and your wife is before you and you are panicked, so your fear is justifiable. इन्हें आपका fear justifiable है. Here I am telling you my own feeling also. लेकिन if the element of fear is not before you, element of fear है नहीं आपके सामने में, still you are shivering, still you are throttling, still you are coughing, you are shivering, you are trembling out of fear, you are in panic. है नहीं सामने में वो एलिमेंट, अनसीन प्रेजेंस है, नहीं है. योर वाइफ इज नॉट बिफोर यू, बट उनका अनसीन प्रेजेंस है. नाम ही काफी है डराने के लिए. कांप रहे हैं. तो हियर आल्सो, हु हैज सीन द विंड? विंड किसने देखा है? नन ऑफ अस. अगर आप लोगों ने किसी ने देखा हो तो बताइए. आई विल वेरी हैप्पी. यस सर, आई हैव सीन द विंड. नो, try to find out, try to see it. देखिएगा, आप लोग कोशिश कीजिएगा, दिख जाए तो हमको फोन कीजिएगा, नंबर ले लीजिएगा. तो none of us has seen the wind. विंड देखा, किसी ने देखा नहीं है, लेकिन कहता है कि अनसीन प्रेजेंस, विंड का अनसीन प्रेजेंस है. इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द अनसीन प्रेजेंस द लीव्स डेड. Those leaves which have fallen from the trees. पत्ते जो ऊपर से झड़ चुके हैं, गिर गए हैं, जले पत्ते, गले पत्ते. लीव्स डेड, वो क्या कर रहे हैं? आर ड्रिवेन, आर कैरीड, दे आर अप टू देयर हिल्स. दे आर अप टू देयर हिल्स मतलब वो अपने इस पर पंजे पर हैं, भाग रहे हैं अपने हिल्स, कहीं पकड़ ना ले. सपोज कि सब दुनिया का सबसे तेज दौड़ने वाला जानवर कहा जाता है चीता, माना जाता है. बट इफ दैट पैंथर इज आफ्टर ए मैन, हु विल रन फास्ट? मैन, बिकॉज मैन हैज टू सेव हिज लाइफ. ठीक है, माइट बी he might fall prey to the panther, अलग बात है, लेकिन थोड़ी देर के लिए for a short while man will use almost all his power because he has to save it. And suppose the wife is after a husband, who will run faster? Husband, because he has to save himself from the clutch or strangulating clutch of his wife. तो यहां leaves भाग रहा है भैया. Leaves are भागिंग, they are running away. हंसिएगा आप लोग, ऐसा मुस्कुराते हुए पढ़िए पोएम तो मजा आता है. They are on their heels. Once again, now figure of speech, there is a figure of speech here. Simile, like. Whenever you find out like or as, and there is a comparison, तुलना हो दो चीजों में, और दैट तुलना, कंपैरिजन इज इंडिकेटेड बाय एज और लाइक, देयर इज अ सिमिलर. तो कैसे भागते हैं देखिए, यहां कैसे कंपैरिजन है. लाइक, लीव्स ड्रिवन लाइक गोस्ट्स. like ghosts. Who are ghosts here? Leaves. The poet presents leaves as ghosts. From an enchanter fleeing. Who is enchanted here? Here the enchanted is the west. You might have seen in some of the towns also, small towns, in some of the villages also, you might have seen the enchanter indulged in the process of scaring the ghosts and trying the ghost to run away from there. देखा होगा आपने भूत झाड़ने वाले मंत्रिया को, तांत्रिक को गांव देहात में ऐसा खूब होता है कि लड़की पर भूत आ गया है, सपना पर भूत आ गया है, झाड़ रहे हैं. Sometimes वो that enchanter creates a smoke of chili, and the lady starts coughing, and the tantric says, "Oh, see, the ghost is coughing." The lady starts weeping. The tantric says, the enchanter says, "See, the ghost is weeping," etc. And says, "You will go or not?" "Yeah, हम जाते हैं, हम जा रहे हैं." इस तरह से खूब होता है. जाओगी फिर तो तंग नहीं करोगी, कभी तंग करोगी फिर आओगी यहाँ पर, नहीं कभी नहीं, पानी पिला दो. सपना पानी मांग रही है, भूत आ गया, उसको पानी मांग रही है. देखो इंटेंशन कहता है, देखो पानी मांग रही है, भूत पानी मांग रहा है, भूत को पानी पिला दिए, यानी भूत भाग रहा है डर से. यही है यहाँ कि लीव्स जो डेड है वो भाग रहे हैं. भागते आप कब हैं? जब आपको डर होता है तभी तो भागते हैं. अदरवाइज व्हाई शुड वन रन अवे? बिना डर के कोई भागता तो ही, डर से ही आप भागते हैं. तो these leaves are dull, are in panic, are in fear. ये डरे हुए हैं, पैनिक में है, फियर में है. किसके फियर में है? वेस्ट विंड के फियर में है. बिकॉज द वेस्ट विंड कैन डू एनीथिंग. क्या करती है वेस्ट विंड? क्यों डरते हैं वे लीव्स उससे? नाउ सी, yellow and black and pale and hectic red, these are the dead colors, you can see. These are the diseased colors. These are the colors of the leaves which have fallen from the trees. Pestilence stricken multitudes. Pestilence, pandemic, you can say. Mahamari is not like influenza. Mahamari is just you are facing that corona. And at that time, at the time of Shelley, TB, Haza, it was the pestilence. And this TB or Haza used to take numerous lives. टीवी रूपी जो सुरसा होती थी, गांव का गांव निकल जाती थी. यानी गांव में एक व्यक्ति को, इफ सपोज ए पर्सन इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम टीवी, he was used to pack up in a sack. He was used to be shacked in a sack. बोरे में उसको कस दिया आता था जिंदा, alive, and used to be thrown in the. तो pestilence stricken multitudes. It seems the presence of the west wind has created such a situation that almost all the trees have lost their leaves. Trees have gone naked. Trees have gone bare. The leaves have fallen from them. And this thing has not happened with one tree. It has happened with trees almost all the trees in that particular area. So it seems that the trees are suffering from some disease, or it might be patjharwa rog, you can say, might be suffering from a disease in which the trees let loose their leaves. ऐसा लगता है जैसे कि वो पेड़ों में बीमारी फैल गई हो, पत्ते को गिराने की बीमारी फैल गई हो और सारे के सारे पत्ते गिर चुके हैं. पेस्टिलेंस स्ट्रिकन मल्टीट्यूड. जहां तक wherever your eyes goes, you find the trees standing naked and bare. O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed the winged seeds. Here the poet is presenting the west wind in two different facets, you can say, in two different forms. West wind carries the seeds. The seeds or the fruits which have fallen from the trees, the ripe fruits which have fallen from the trees have seeds. Now, when they have fallen, out of that fall, they are broken. Seeds are out. गिरे, टूटे, फटे, बीज बाहर. Those bees, यानी कि those seeds. And now, what a beautiful word, what a beautiful adjective the poet used before the seeds. Winged seeds. Wings. Seeds having wings, flying. Though the west wind carries the seeds along with the leaves. Where? To the dark wintry bed. ले जाके उनको वो खेत में मिट्टी में छोड़ देते हैं. किसको? बीज को. Who does so? The west wind. Each like a corpse. Once again there is a simile. Each seed is dead at that time. हर बीज उस समय मरा हुआ होता है. No doubt there is life in it, but at that time it is dead one. That seed having life, however the life is hidden, remains in their dark wintry bed. हर बीज अपनी अपनी कब्र में मिट्टी के नीचे पड़ा रहता है. It remains there, waiting for the east wind to blow. East wind is the azure sister of west wind. They are sisters. They are siblings, you can say. Sisters हैं दोनों. After west wind, east wind is bound to blow. The seeds very patiently. Here see the importance of patience has been emphasized. They are never restless. The seeds are never restless. They remain there. They wait there patiently for the arrival of the right time, for the arrival of the blowing of the east wind. And what happens when the east wind gives its clarion? What happens when the east wind starts blowing? What happens? See, each like a corpse within its grave, until thine, matlab your azure sister of the spring shall blow her clarion over the dreaming earth and fill with living hues and colors plain and hill. The west wind does its work. it plays its role. It carries the seeds into the soil. It carries the seeds into the soil. Its work is over. Now it is the time for the east wind to show its power. East wind comes, it starts blowing, it gives the clarion call, it asks the seeds, jago, utho, jago. Clarion over the dreaming earth. See what a poet Shelley is. Dreaming earth. The earth is sleeping. And when the earth is sleeping, almost all the objects upon the earth are sleeping. The earth has been personified here. Earth is sleeping and it's sleep. It is dreaming also. जैसे आप लोग सपने देखते हैं, सोए हुए हैं, राजकुमारों के सपने देख रहे हैं और राजकुमारियों के सपने. तो the earth is dreaming. The east wind comes and gives her clarion, her call to the dreaming earth to come out of its dream, to come out of her dream. Utho, jago, उत्थिष्ट, जागृत, प्राप्य वरानी बोधत. उठो, जागो. और फिर तब सोना जब जो तुम्हारा प्राप्य है, जब उसको प्राप्त कर लो. तो उठा रहे हैं उसको. और जैसे उठता है, it brings, the east wind brings agility in seeds also. And those seeds open their eyes. Those seeds germinate. And they come out, piercing the soil, piercing the earth. उसको छेद करता हुआ बाहर निकलता है. And what happens? Almost all the areas get covered with beautiful plants, having beautiful flowers, possessing beautiful fragrance. Therefore the poet says, with living hues. Living hues. Hue means colors. कैसा कलर? Living. बोलता हुआ कलर, सांस लेता हुआ कलर, मुस्कुराता हुआ कलर. Living, जिंदा. Living hues and odors means fragrance. Plain and hill, चाहे वो समतल मैदान हो, पहाड़ी एरिया हो, पठारी एरिया हो, almost all the earth gets decorated with the beautiful plants having beautiful and fragrant flowers. West wind, which has given the earth the look of a widow, the earth having the widow look because of the presence of the west wind gets the look of a newly married bride. Gets a bridal look, you can say. Bride इतनी decorated होती है, you know that. बाद में पता चलता है bride कैसी है. लेकिन at that time it is so decorated. The earth gets so decorated, so lively, so pleasant, so full of color, fragrance, this, that. The earth looks very beautiful at that time. And then the poet says, wild spirit, oh jungly spirit, oh wild spirit, which art moving everywhere. The air is present everywhere. It travels everywhere without spending any money. इसको तो कुछ पैसा खर्च करना नहीं पड़ता है कहीं जाने के लिए. कहीं बस से जाना नहीं है, ट्रेन से जाना नहीं है कि पैसा देना, टिकट कटाना होगा या पेट्रोल भरवाना होगा, है ना. it can go anywhere, anytime. It is always present anywhere. Destroyer and preserver. It means the poet says that the west wind is at first a destroyer because it destructs. It destroys. Destroyer is a person or thing which destroys. विनाशक वो चीज है जो विनाश करती है, जो डिस्ट्रॉय करती है, वो डिस्ट्रॉयर है. तो सिंस द वेस्ट विंड लेट्स द ट्रीज फॉल, लूज देयर लीव्स, it is because of the west wind that the leaves dead fall from the trees. The west wind is called a destroyer because at that time, at the very outset, at the very arrival, the west wind destructs. West wind क्या करती है? वो destruct करती है. But it is because of the west wind that new leaves, you can say, new life comes upon the earth. If the west wind has not created that havoc, the trees would not have lost their leaves. And if they have not lost their leaves, they would not have got new leaves in them. If the west wind has not carried the seeds into the soil, those seeds would not have germinated, would not have got the chances to germinate. It is the west wind which carries the seeds into the soil. Since the seeds are in the soil, since the seeds were in the soil, therefore they germinated, they grew when the east wind started blowing. So by carrying the seeds into the soil, the west wind plays the role of a preserver also, because each seed keeps a life in it. हर बीज में एक जीवन है, हर बीज में एक जीवन है. Every seed carries a life in it, and that life is preserved by the west wind when it carries the seeds into the soil. So the west wind is, no doubt, at first is a destroyer, but secondly it is a preserver. And then poet says, destroyer and preserver, here, oh, here, oh, oh. See the sound, oh. The poet seems to be in cust. The poet seems to be in some trouble, in sorrow, in sadness, in some pira. Oof. Oof. And the poet one, here or here. Here or here. Here repetition. One word, here and again here. The same word has been repeated. The poet wants the west wind to come to him. He wants that west wind should listen to him. He wants to say something. He wants to share something with the west wind. He wants that west wind should help him in some way. What he wants? What type of help does he want from the west wind? And all other things we will see in our next videos, or when I will get a chance to engage the class. We will see the other sections of the poem, because this poem has been divided into 5 sections, and today I have discussed the first section. So you are requested to go through the first section, read the first section, try to listen to the video, and try to understand that. If you feel some any problem, some difficulty, so please send your difficulties, send your problems through your comments, and please do subscribe this channel. Enjoy the poem, enjoy your life, Enjoy yourself, enjoy everything, enjoy the bounties of earth. Thank you. God bless you.